Hello, Chassos. Welcome to the video. It's right here. Right here's where you are. And we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the best additions to the game that has come out of 10th. Now, I know it's been a little bit of a dumpster fire. Tau unhappy with their index among a number of other factions. Votan, Death Guard, I see you. And a lot of other armies are very, very happy with their index and are currently stomping the meta into the ground. However, I wanted to talk about something that I'm actually very, very happy with, and that is this little thing right here. And you can actually see it, which is great. It's not being cut off. Well, it kind of is. The mission pack, where we have access to the choice between fixed and tactical missions. Now, I'm going to go through everything, what you get in the box, why I think it's so great, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion about it. But first, if you are interested in supporting me and an incredible LGS, head down to the link in the description where you will find a link to Irresistible Force. We are coming up on my GT, which is running very soon. We'll have a bit more coverage coming out about that soon. And they have been an incredible partner in getting that off the ground. So go and show them some love. So let's have a chat about this box and what makes it so great. The first thing that I want to reference really is that at the end of 9th, we had a very, very big disparity between how armies scored the game and where that kind of pigeonholed people. Tau was only really able to score in the latter half of the game, and we didn't really have any other options for our game plan. Necrons were able to just stand on the board and go, cool, if you can't shift me, I win. If you don't table me in the first 2 turns, I will win. Because they had a number of very, 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 very easy to score secondaries, and this led into also a strong primary game, as their plan was just to go out and flood the board. They knew exactly what they were doing before they started. Sisters, again, bottom of the meta. I see you. Stay strong, girls. Sisters had a very, very good game plan as well. Very easy to achieve secondaries. And then you had a couple of other factions that were a little bit mid. Mushu. So what this meant is that you had a metagame that from a balance perspective was relatively good. We were enjoying 9th. Probably not as much as we should have, now that we know what was coming with 10th, but it was relatively balanced. There were a lot of armies that fit within the delta of 45 to 55% win rate in a competitive environment, which was fantastic. What we didn't really like among the top tables was the way that different armies scored, which was fine. But then this comes out. And all of a sudden, we get access to tactical missions, which are just fantastic. But not only that, still having the choice of fixed missions, which allow certain army types to build around a secondary plan, looking at you, spam Tyranids, and allows them to go, cool, if I build in a certain way, I will still be able to score and win my game. There is an unfortunate downside, as I will get to towards the end of the video, which is Bring It Down being taken as a fixed secondary, and Tau over here, But the tactical missions are fantastic. Now, what do we actually get in the box? Pulling it out, you can see it is decently sizable. One of the things that I'll point out first is that you will get these, which are these little pop-out objective markers, which are fantastic. If you don't have neoprene mats, which you should, and very soon you will be able to through a particular store that's going to open up, not mentioning names, you can just pop these out and you can use these as your tokens, and you and your opponent just measure 3 inches from the side of the token. You know whether you're standing on the objective or not. That is fantastic. What you also get is gambits, which the competitive sphere has not been using because these are just win mores. Gambits, anybody can do. And if you're already ahead and stomping your opponent and you get gambits which are, let's face it, pretty easy to achieve, you then just go, cool, I'm going to slam another like 30 points. I'll get no more primary for the rest of the game, but that's fine. I'll max out my secondaries. And because I was ahead of you already, I'm basically 100 points now. And if you can't catch up, well, woe is you. So competitive spheres have banned gambits, and I wholeheartedly agree with it because we do not need a win more in the game. We want things to be, if it was a rule that only the person who is down in points by a significant margin maybe is allowed to use it, then fine. But yeah, don't worry about the gambits. You got the cards. They're cool. Whatever. You get the tournament pack rule set, which is great because there are some things in here which affect or are contradictory to the core rules. So make sure you have a little flick through and read of that. And then you get into all the mission stuff. You get access to a card that you can put down and know your deployment plan. No looking up through like a massive ass rulebook or whatever else. You just slam it down and bam, you're good to go. You do the same with primary mission. You do the same with mission rules. It is incredibly easy. And then you draw out your secondary mission deck. Now, obviously, I'm holding the whole thing. It's not this big, I swear. Man, I don't like the number of times I've had to say that in my life. Anyway, so you have your secondary mission deck, which you shuffle before the game. If you're an old school poker player like me, you have your opponent cut your deck because that is just good manners. Cutting the deck is literally just like take top half, bottom half, change it over. Now, I do that as a rule just because it eliminates any possibility of any foul play whatsoever. Either like myself, even if I stupidly did something and didn't notice, opponent cuts the deck, bam, gone. Even if I didn't notice something, it has been fixed prematurely. And it also means if I do it for every single opponent, if I'm going up against somebody that I think is a little bit dodgy, I can get them to cut the deck and they can't really say shit about it. So then what you do is you draw 2 cards at the start of your turn, and that will let you know what you're going to do for the turn. Now, there are a lot of secondary missions that we recognize in here. Things like Bring It Down, things like Behind Enemy Lines, things like Engage on All Fronts, Assassination, all that sort of stuff. But they have been streamlined in a way that makes them very, 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 very achievable. For example, Assassination used to be that you got points based on the number of characters you kill. Now, in a tactical mission setting, all you have to do is either kill a character from your enemy's army, or all characters on the field have been destroyed and you achieve this objective. Really fantastic. And now, people might be put off if they're not familiar with that, you know, a lot of the objectives you can only really score like 5 points. There's one for capturing the enemy home field objective, which is 8 points, which can seem like you're like, oh yeah, but that's only a couple of points. But when you put it into context, if you're achieving these every single turn, that's 10 points a turn. You do that 5 turns in a row and you have 50 points on the board from achieving these for varying objectives that you have to do. And one of the things that I love about this so much is that it creates an environment where people don't have as much pre-planned game plan. They have to be reactive in nature. Do they want to poke out of this ruin and allow you to see them? Because if they draw a specific card, they won't have the movement to get around the building and out to be able to score that. But if they go out there, you'll be able to shoot them. Do they want to try and stage in a way that is potentially dangerous to that unit that they're going to be doing? How much do they keep in deep strike? Do they have enough with the deep strike keyword so they can get anywhere that they need to? Do I have people within movement of getting wholly within 9 inches of the board edges so I can do investigate signals? There is so much stuff that is really, really great here. And that's where we've seen the lists for Tau that are doing really, really well. They've got, you know, 2 or 3 things in common, which is usually speed and things that you can use and kind of throw away a little bit to achieve these missions, and then the rest of your army is the stuff that kills. Whereas at the end of 9th, we would just kill everything and then score because there was nothing left, which is not great for you and your opponent. It can feel good the first couple of times that you do it because you're like, yeah, I'm pulling it off. I've got a good game plan of whatever. But after you've done it a few times, you just realize you're taking fun away from your opponent and interactivity and that sort of clashing of minds just for, hey, I can see you. You're gone. Bye-bye. Get off my table. And that's not a great and healthy place for the game to be in, and it's why Tau can sometimes draw some hate. As Eldari is right now, because Wraith Knight's just deleting stuff with nothing you can do about it, feels really, 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 really bad. So, when you're looking at your games, and this will be a relatively short video, I'm not going to go into absolutely the ins and outs. If you would like to get the ins and outs of how to use these secondaries, make sure you go down to my Patreon down below or YouTube membership, get access to the Discord where you'll be able to access a community of people, or send a message to me and potentially book yourself in for a coaching session where you can one-on-one go through every single one of these cards and know exactly what's going to happen. But what I will say is that if you're hesitant about tactical objectives, you need to examine them more and you need to get some reps in using tactical play because it is really, really fantastic. Now, can you be done in by tactical missions? Yes, you can. You can draw terribly in your first couple of turns. Not saying that that's not the case whatsoever. But one thing I will point out is that everybody gets access to, again, talking about this little rule book, everybody gets access to a once per game stratagem to discard a card and immediately redraw another one. That can be really, really great. 1 CP to just get rid of a dead secondary, that's fantastic. At the end of your turn, you can discard 1 or 2 of the secondary objective missions that you haven't achieved, and draw 1 or 2 more cards, depending on how many you discarded at the start of your next turn. And if you haven't already generated a CP for that battle round, you get 1 CP for discarding a card. Note, you cannot generate more than 1 CP in a battle round unless you've got a rule that explicitly states that you're able to do it. So if you've got, say, an Ethereal which generated a CP, discarding a card does nothing for you except allow you to draw new secondaries, as if you don't achieve the secondaries in the turn that you draw them, you hang on to them until they're achieved, unless you discard them at the end of your turn. So, and this has happened to me a couple of times where I've achieved something that is so doable next turn. And so I just take the hit to my points and I go, you know what? I may be able to catch up on whatever. I will get rid of this. And there are certain tactical secondaries that do go above 5 points. So even if you discard one, you may actually be able to make up the difference later on. I did this in a game against Knights and I still pulled a 100 against them. So make sure that you wrap your heads around this. Have a read. I know that's something that the internet doesn't like to be told, but have a read of these and wrap your head around exactly what you need to do. And it starts helping you plan what goes in Deep Strike, what you're going to have as throwaway units, and this is where, and I am making a video about these guys right now, the Piranhas are so fantastic with a pre-game move, a decent hull, decent wounds. They are annoying as hell. They can battle shock people that they get within 12 inches of at the end of the movement phase. They're really fantastic, and I'll have a video showing you on the table how to use them. But yeah, tacticals are just like my new favorite thing in 40k. I really love that it is healthy variance that we're seeing of how to achieve these and how to really put down some wins. It's also pushed Tau in a very, very healthy way. And I think it's pushed other armies in a healthy way as well, as excluding the top of the meta. Armies are having to think differently about how they play the game. And that is really, really good for us as a whole. It generates innovation in list building. And it means that people have to think more tactically when they're playing the game rather than a zug-zug, I put my models on the board, I walk forward, I win. And I think that's fantastic. Thank you very much to all of my patrons who make all of my videos possible. You guys are incredible. These patrons are going to be having their names on a banner. And this is my YouTube members as well. Cutoff, unfortunately, is passed for that. That banner will be up at my GT next to the Art of War and everything else. I'm really, really excited for it. We actually got a notification that it's already ready and done, so we're going to be picking that up very, very soon. Thank you to my chassos, Chris, Riley, Rain, Taylor, and Bryce. You guys are the backbone of my community and you give me so much support. It is really, really incredible. If you would like to join any of these amazing people, head down to the link in the description or click the little YouTube membership button down below. It'll get you access to the Discord as well as a bunch of other stuff. We are very, very excited to announce that we are going to be having our own website launching soon with, actually, let me grab. Now, I don't actually know how well the camera picks these up, and these are a test print. These are in production right now. They are spotter, observer, and guided coins that will allow you to track who is who. Now, I just got them to throw some color on it. Obviously, these are test prints. These are just to prove that they could have been done and show me, you know, the design that we'd come up with. They are in production right now. I'm very, very excited for it. They will be on sale on the website that I will be launching in the next week, in which my incredible merchandise manager, as well as wife and only one, has come up with almost immediately 32 designs for merch. There is some incredible stuff here. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, light up mouse mats, water bottles. There is like everything. So if you want to have a little piece of me in your home, then get excited for that. And drop me a comment down below if you're keen to have some coins to be able to track your games. We're starting out with just a limited release print of the gold and silver and black. Once we find out the level of interest from you, my wonderful community, I will be ordering new sets and going for things like color-coded rims so that you know exactly who is aligned to who. But if you want to get your hands on some of these limited ones, make sure you drop me a comment. Let me know how much to order because I am starting out from the bottom here. I have to basically buy all of the stock that I will be getting, so if I'm buying too little, it would be nice to know so people don't miss out. So let me know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you to GW for doing secondaries in such a great way. I really hope this sticks around for a decent amount of time. I'm sure we'll have it for a lot of 10th. The new GT mission packs hopefully keep the stuff that is really working in here, because I am very, very, very happy with it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. As always, do the internet things, likes and sharing to people and being like, hey, this guy's pretty cute, and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.